Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Christine.
And I'm Catherine.
And this is a Theology of Dance video. Here at Theology of Dance, we love to show people that dancing, if it's done right, can be very Christian and very holy. Now, maybe you're a parent with a teenager, and maybe you've gone to one of your teenager's high school dances, and you see all the grinding on the dance floor, and you say to me, Matt, that does not look very Christian, that does not look very holy. Well, you're right. Grinding is not Christian and it's not holy. It's also not good dancing. It's kind of being too permissive. It's the wrong way to dance. So before I show you the right way to dance, I'll show you the wrong way to dance from the other angle, which is the puritanical angle. And I got this idea from a meme I saw on social media of good Christian dancing, and goods in quotes because it's terrible Christian dancing. But it looks like this. So I'm leading, Christine's following, and she's going to start by putting her hands on my shoulders, like so. I'm going to take my hand, I'll put on her waist, like so, and we're going to keep them there the entire dance. Then we can go side and side, maybe go around in a circle like so, and I'm bored. Are you bored?
Totally bored.
Are you bored?
Really bored.
So I am bored, and Christine is bored, and Catherine is bored just watching, because this is really boring. But hey, at least we weren't grinding because, as the meme said, we had one Bible width between us to leave room for the Holy Spirit. Now, let's imagine that out there is some youth minister, and he decides that this is a good idea to teach his kids to dance this way. Now, I don't recommend it. It's a terrible way to dance, but let's imagine that there is a youth minister, and he's going to teach his kids to dance this way. And he's thinking that he needs a Bible this big. So he's got this much space between the dancers, which is a good amount to keep you from grinding, I suppose. But let's imagine that this youth minister, he has a smart aleck kid in his group. And he says, Mr. Youth Minister, my Bible's only this big. And then he asks, is it this width? Or is it this width? Or maybe it's this width. Or maybe he's a really smart aleck and he uses the Bible that's only that big, which is a really small Bible. Okay. So what should that youth minister do? Well, don't ask me. I said it was a dumb idea because it's heresy. And if I found out, I'd ran him out to the Spanish Inquisition and they would show up when he least expected it. But in all seriousness, it is a heresy. What do I mean? The Holy Spirit does not come between us. The Holy Spirit doesn't keep us apart. The Holy Spirit brings us together in the right kind of relationship. The Holy Spirit is symbolized by the music and the dance. The music doesn't keep Christine and I apart. It's not like we're here and there's space for the music. It's not like I get half the music and she gets half the music. We fully enter into the music and we both have access to the fullness of the music. And so it's going to bring us together in the right kind of relationship. And it's going to look like this. Are you ready, Maestro?
Let's go.
5, 6, ready, and. Now, that was Lindy Hop, and if you're looking at that, you might have noticed that the connection was always changing. It was very dynamic. When we started out, Christine and I were really far apart, but later on, we were a lot closer together, and later on, we were side by side, and then later on, we were like this. So these are just 4 of the many different kinds of connections that we have available to us when we're dancing. And the question may be, okay, how do you pick the right connection? Well, I can tell you a way that won't work, and that is this idea that if what's in my heart is pure and good, and what's in Christine's heart is pure and good, we're going to connect the right way. I teach dance, and I can tell you that's not going to work. I'll show you. If I know nothing about dance, and Christine, she knows nothing about dance, and I want to do that first pattern, I'm going to grab her like really hard. I'm going to pull really hard. And Christine's not going to know the right way to hold her shoulder and her arm. I'm going to physically hurt her. Or maybe I want to turn that way, and I start turning and she goes the other way because she doesn't know how to follow. So all the goodness that's in my heart and all the goodness that's in Christine's heart is not getting communicated. It's getting lost in translation. And that's because the rules of dance, they're not arbitrary. Like no one sat down one day and made up some rules and said, this is Lindy Hop. Rather, people had to figure out how this dance was going to work so it fit the music and it fit our bodies. The rules of dance are based on the music and our bodies. So, for example, when we first started out the dance, we were far apart because we want to actually build tension in the connection, which will allow us to put energy into the pattern and make it look really snappy and feel really snappy. Then we're like this really close together. I'll show you how close we are. From this angle, you can see it's actually less than that Bible width. Why? If I move away from Christine, instead of going straight, she'll want to go that way, which is the wrong way to go. Plus, I'm pulling her off her axis, which makes her feel uncomfortable and actually feel unsafe. I'm going to get close. Why? Not to grind, but to make her feel comfortable and make us look good. Okay? So the question is, how do you learn how to do that? You got to go to a good dance community with good dance teachers. Why community? You got to have a place to learn where you can practice and be safe and have good examples. And obviously, good dance teachers, because those rules were learned a long time ago and been passed down as a tradition from generation to generation. And what does this relationship look like? Well, good dancing, I say, has 4 qualities to it. It's beautiful, musical, comfortable, and loving. Now that last one, loving, is what John Paul II in his theology of the body would call the ethos. It's an interior dimension. It's that goodness, that purity inside of our hearts. And the other 3 are what we call the praxis, exterior dimensions, the ways of expressing what's in our heart, the goodness. So the beautiful, the musical, and the comfortable are the practices that allow us to express the love that's in our hearts. Now, if you start doing this, you're going to find out that you're in this wonderful upward spiral. That is, as you learn to be more beautiful, more musical, and more comfortable, it's going to make you actually more loving. And as you become more loving, it's going to inspire you to become more beautiful, more musical, and more comfortable, which makes you a better dancer, a better person, and a better Christian.